What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
It's official. I'm a fat loser.
RadioWhat.com. What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It is an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, I encourage you, check out DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. I love doing the parties and partying with the people. Today on the program, Cody Pafford. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. All I know about Cody Pafford is he likes to take a lot of pictures, and he's on the Instagram. Yeah, looking forward to getting to know more about Cody Pafford. This week's shows, well, I have no public shows this week. All weekend long, Saturday and Sunday, I'll be doing a corporate event up in Paragould, Arkansas. Kind of excited about that. It's about 2.5 hours to drive out there. But, yeah, I get to go to Paragould and do something different. Friday night at the Rab, I will have some coverage. So they will still have a karaoke show. So come on out to the Rab and check it out. Have some fun. It's karaoke Fridays and Saturday nights at the Rab. All right, party people, let's get into it with Cody Pafford. Yeah, I want to find out more about Cody Pafford. I think I'm going to go meet him over in downtown Conway, Arkansas, over by the fountain. Let's get over to Cody Pafford now. Probably, yeah, there you go. I turned the lavalier mics on finally. You got to make sure that you have the right settings on, or else the podcast no worky. So we're sitting here in Conway, Arkansas, downtown, real close to the fountain, and I've got Cody. Pronounce the last name.
Pafford.
Put that next to your talking hole somewhere.
Right.
Make sure the mic is facing up. I guess just clip it right here. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. Win. Okay. Found you on Instagram. You've been, you're a picture taker, amongst other things. But what was, give the people a small bio of who you are.
Let's see. I was born and raised in Mayflower. Went to school there my entire life. That's where I graduated. Went from there straight. Well, did a little bit of college, but then I went into working in enforcement for Game and Fish Commission from about 2005 until 2017. Not a whole lot of stories, a bunch of craziness over there, though. Chupacabra calls, you know.
Wait, back up. Chupacabra calls?
Yes.
What is that?
Yes, the mythical goat sucker from supposedly from Mexico. It's crazy, but I've probably drunk people, but I've had those. We've had, you know.
In Mayflower?
No, it's statewide. So I don't know. It was somewhere in South Arkansas, so that might be another thing about it. But no, I've dealt with shooting occurrences. You know, we've lost a couple of officers' lives while I was there. You know.
Oh. Okay.
It wasn't always good. I used to have a lot more hair before we did that.
Oh.
Then I went from there, started working DF&A, and
what's DF&A?
Department of Finance Administration.
What is that?
Like, you know where you get your tags renewed and stuff? Like, I don't work there. I'm in the IT sector. I do like server administration, FTP stuff. I do password resets mainly. Kind of a nerdery type thing, but pretty simple stuff. I went from crazy hours to banker hours. Now I got all this free time. And
okay, that explains some things. I was stalking your Facebook feed, and I caught a picture, and it was one of those felt cute pictures. I don't know, might change your password later.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Cassie, I have this red shirt that I hardly ever wear, and it's kind of an ongoing joke with my coworkers about Cody in red. But I sent it to.
Sounds like a song, man.
I hope not, dear God. Anyway,
Cody in red.
Yeah, that would be the worst song ever. So, a friend of mine, I sent it to her, and she kind of did the little meme thing to it, put the caption on it, said, you know, feeling cute, might want to change your password later. So, kind of an ongoing joke. And then back in March, for early birthday present, I got the camera And it's
what kind of camera?
It's a Nikon D5600.
Is that good?
I mean, I do good with it, I guess. What everybody says I do. I'm so humble about everything. I'm like, it looks okay, and they're like, no, we love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of expensive for me. It was, but now that I'm looking to upgrade, I'm like, well, it wasn't so bad in price, especially.
Well, what do they cost?
That one particularly, it's $100 cheaper now. I think I paid like $8 something, but that's like with taxes included and stuff.
Right.
It still does what I wanted to do. I've only gotten one extra lens since then, but I haven't really used my other one since then. But
so pretty much point and shoot?
No. It's a full DSLR.
Okay.
Some people do use them in auto modes. I got off auto as soon as I got it. I started doing like the aperture priority, different ones, controlling depth, adding mood and this and that. And then it wasn't until recently, right before you found me, that I started switching straight over to the full manual and doing all the stuff just by fly seat of the pants type thing. And it's just taken off on its own. Just in fact, a while ago, my pictures were shown on channel 11.
Yes.
And I was so surprised by that because I was trying to get ready. I'm like, oh my gosh! And I didn't get to see the news article online, but I shared the one that they did. But no, it's been a blast. When I was a kid, my parents, we used to drive around the state all over the place. We'd knock out 400 or 500 miles and not even leave the state.
Yeah.
And so that kind of started to instill with me the want to start to travel. And my weird hours before, it was rare that I could actually get out and do things. And then now it's like, since I'm weekend free, I just take up, haul A, and go. And it's been crazy. I mean, because to me, it's like I take my pictures, they're like, to me, I'm an overthinker. So I look at them, I'm like, I could have done 7 things differently to almost every one of the pictures I've taken. But everybody else seems to love them. I have a good following of people who are really supportive. I've gotten to a couple of photography groups, and everybody there is really cool. I thought it'd be more cliquish, pardon the pun.
Right.
But they were more accepting than I thought they would be, and I've gotten nothing but praise. And to me, it just doesn't. I don't know. To me, it seems like I'm just. My main goal, because of my parents' health, my mom, she has heart problems. My dad is an early onset Alzheimer's patient right now. And so, like, their going out's been limited quite a bit. And so I'm kind of paying it forward because I've been really blessed through life and trying to do what I want to do in life. And now it's like all I want to do is show people who may not have the availability or due to physical issues, financial. To me, the ultimate payoff is when people see it, and maybe for a split second, if something's ailing them, then it might take their mind off of it. And my parents now get to see, what I capture, my escapes, and to me, that is the ultimate payoff. It's like, because I know they can't be there in person, I can bring it back to them. And so now, knowing a lot of places that I know and the places they've taken me to, it's giving me an opportunity to go back and kind of pay it forward to not just them, but to everybody. And I love that aspect. I'm not doing it for notoriety. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing that I've been recognized a couple times in person.
Yeah.
At work the other day, I got locked out of my own computer, so I had to call our IT people to get myself unlocked. And the lady looked at the name, she was like, I love your pictures. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then the very next day, something happened with another person. And that wasn't even my intent. Like, I don't plan on really making money with it. If I do, it would just go right back into the hobby. It would go back to traveling, upgrading my stuff, which has gotten really expensive. But I'm trying to save for better equipment, and it's just been a thrill. I see other people share pictures, and my whole thing is I wanted to be like, oh, you see a picture and you can tell by the look of it who it belongs to. There's a few people I've seen that I can look at theirs and I know whose work it is. And but I've kind of flip-flopped on my medium on what I'm capturing. I'll go from waterfalls one weekend to like overlooks and vistas, because at first when I did those, it was horrible. This whole thing, like, I've never taken a class. I've never went to school for this. I went to school for IT-related stuff.
Right.
And so when I went to this, it was like eye-shattering. It's mind-boggling, I guess. You have your phone, and that's the only thing I've ever taken pictures of until March. And then everybody says I kind of picked it up quick. I guess I have, but I'm so humble about it. Like, every time I get like a feature, I'm freaked out. Like, I'm like a little kid. And because to me, it's not because, again, being recognized, is because it's getting my name out and letting people see it. More and more of a platform for people to see what I'm trying to do. And I love that part.
It's so funny that you mentioned that she recognized your name, because your whole name isn't even on your Instagram.
No.
Where I found you. It just says Cody.
Yeah.
And then what was the name of the?
It's Morbid Monk. _photos.
So why Morbid Monk?
Oh gosh, so I used to play video games all the time.
Okay.
And Codeman kind of like fell out of the cool rotation. I was like, I can't keep going with that one. So I used to play.
Oh, you were Codeman?
Yeah, I was Codeman for a while, and then
I was Breakdancer.
Oh, okay.
Don't be afraid.
So what happened is I turned around, and I was playing paintball, and I have a ridiculous laugh whenever it's like, there's nothing more entertaining that you land a shot on somebody. It's like, yeah, and so I used to giggle all the time, and I started getting called Chipmunk. Well, between that and having a really twisted sense of humor, which is where the morbid came from, it just kind of stuck. So I went with Morbid Monk for the longest time. I don't know how many times I've had other people like, that's not how you spell monk. It's like, I'm not talking about the Friar Tuck type. I'm talking about the animal. And so it just kind of stuck. And so whenever I was coming up with this whole idea, because I didn't start Instagram until April, I think.
Okay.
It was a little bit later. A friend of mine was like, you should really try. That's a good outlet to put your stuff on.
Yes, especially for photos.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I don't know, I think I went like 2 months without even using a hashtag. I had to have that explained to me. I'm pretty new tech on stuff, but when it comes
You're
to like
an IT
stuff,
guy.
yeah, it's just that's the aspect I didn't really grasp. I was like, oh, come on. And so I had to go back through and re-hashtag everything, in which like the first few pictures are just like a mishmash of variety of different pictures, mostly taken with the phone since it was early on. But it's now just kind of become like, it's been fun to me. I mean, seeing people react and this and that, because it's like I said, I don't know what kind of day somebody's having. They could be having a terrible one, just for a split second I'm like, I'm pretty good right now. This might turn around. It might be a fleeting moment, but still it counts to me. That's what matters the most. And
so Cody Pafford. Pafford?
Yeah, Pafford. It's like a Ford, but with a P in front of it. So
Pafford. Okay.
There you go.
Cody Pafford. I want people to know your name, Cody Pafford.
Yeah.
And I want you to put your whole name on your Instagram, so people will give the credit to Cody Pafford, Morbid Monk photos.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And you were primarily taking scenescapes, all in Arkansas.
Oh yeah. Well,
or have you been outside of the state?
98% of them are. When I went to Gallenberg back in November.
Okay.
I have a few pictures from there, but that was still on the phone. I always put where they're at, but most of the time it's in Arkansas. I even done local stuff like Lake Conway Dam, different ones.
Yeah.
And it's just surprising because like when I share them to like different Facebook pages like Backroads of Arkansas Pictures, the photos that are really, to me, aren't technical. They're just kind of like fly by the seat of your pants, or some of my more popular ones. I was up at Calico Rock and I had targets where I wanted to go and capture those. I couldn't find them, and so we were leaving, and I just turned around and there was the Calico Rock road sign sitting there. And then Calico Rock, the way it's laid out, it's like just on this bluff, and it was directly behind it, and I'm like, that looks awesome. So I just took a picture of it and left, and when I got home I kind of looked at it. I don't edit a lot because I'm pretty pure in my stuff and what I want to do.
Okay.
I even made an alternate Instagram just for when I get in those modes where I want to like really flip-flop something. They're just so abstract that there's really nothing to them, because it's just, I like the way they look. I don't want them to look flashy, but I want them to be like, I don't want to be known for that, because to me, if you over edit something, that kind of comes off as semi-weak in your ability to capture photos. Some people love it, love the way it looks, but I'm more of a purist when it comes to that aspect. I think I've edited maybe, I don't know, not even a dozen of my actual photos, and done anything with them. But no, it's been so cool. I mean, like the photography group I joined, we went to
what group is that?
Arkansas. Oh geez.
They're going to listen to this.
I know.
They're going to get mad.
Oh, come on. You
can look it up on your phone real quick.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I feel bad.
I'll let people know. Shoot, I don't even think we introduced ourselves. We kind of just went into it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to Cody Pafford here, Morbid Monk Photos. If you want to find him on Instagram, that's MUNK. He's already explained he is the chipmunk of photography.
Together _photos. Yeah.
With a morbid sense of humor.
Yes.
And because you hear the background noise, hey, I can do this podcast from anywhere.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here in the middle of Conway, Arkansas. He was so nice to come all the way up from Mayflower. I was going to go to Mayflower. I just did a podcast down there in a guy's backyard. One of the guitarist from Sideswipe. He lives down there, and Hunter Stiegel. He lives in Stiegel. His grandparents live there.
Oh.
So, and he lives with his grandparents.
So it's Arkansas Photography Club, and then the one that I've joined primarily first is Arkansas Photography Club, the River Valley chapter.
Okay.
A good friend of mine, Brendan Duffield, she runs it, and she's really helped me out in a lot of this. there's a guy named Stevie Bernard. He's out of Little Rock. He kind of does his own thing. Okay. He's really pointing me in some directions on these and where to go. He's been doing it for years, and he's shocked by what I do. But again, to me, it's natural. There's one of my ones that's really hit me in the heart as far as like captures, because I was obsessed with trying to get as much time as possible as I could in one picture. And so this guy, Hal Mitzenmacher, I'm glad I said that right, who's out of Harrison, he does classes for super long exposures and all this and that. And between him and another friend, Dara Garrett, and then I've already told these people to give them a shout out, so I'm just trying to get them in there.
Go ahead.
And then
it's your podcast. We got hours, man. Take your time.
And then between them and I don't know, it's kind of changed the trajectory of what I want to do in my life. Another one in the group, Shannon Boyd, she started this deal where she wants to start taking pictures of like foster families, foster children, because they don't have the opportunity or sometimes the fiscal means to get pictures done. So some of them don't have that history in their life to fall back on. And so she had put it out originally about wanting to do this for free and help them out, like with proceeds and stuff that she gets going towards different programs related to that. And I saw that, and I'm like, I have a lot of free time.
Right.
I was like, I'd love to help. So I threw my name in the pot, and I was like, hey, I mean, I'm not great on people captures. I need to learn it. And I was like, I would love to help her out wherever I could. And she's really cool about it. I told her I'm more of the impromptu. Like, I'll just take the random pictures, the smiles at random, and totally she could rock out doing the portrait setups and all that. So like getting more of a dynamic between, other than just the portraits, and help people to have that memory. Something comes up in the future, they have those. When I was a kid, we had a house fire that burned most of our stuff, so there's a big chunk that's missing in my life.
Wow, yeah.
As far as pictures. And so it's like, if I can help other people to not have that problem, that's another good thing I like to do. That wasn't my original aim, because even I had friends trying to get me to go to animal shelters and take pictures of their dogs, and I'm like, no, because I'd probably take home half of them, and I really don't need to do that. And if anybody's interested on that one about the foster children and families, Shannon A. Boyd, all common spelling, @gmail.com. She's the one to get a hold of, and she'll be the one that sets it up and then get back with me if she needs help on anything.
Now this is for animals?
No, it's for the foster, like children, families,
children.
Yeah, that stuff, yeah. But no, it's just kind of taken me aback, because just the whole outpouring that I've received. On this one Facebook, I joined, my first picture was of this waterfall in Romance, Arkansas. And I went there twice. First time I took a friend of mine, Laura Stackhouse, to teach her, like not necessarily to do the photography aspect, but just to teach her camera, because she had an older one she didn't know how to use, and I was trying to help her out.
Film camera or digital?
No, point and shoot.
Okay.
Coolpix. And so I tried to walk her through that, which her camera is totally different, and I wasn't comfortable with mine enough to really explain how to go from my camera to her camera. Because it was really early on. It was like April or May, somewhere in there.
Right.
And the place we went to, the water was really high. Couldn't really get a whole lot of angles, so I was kind of let down by it. So a couple months later, I took another friend of mine, the one who actually opened my eyes to the whole aspect of photography, because her name's Cassie. She went to school. She was an art major. She's really deep into this. She used to shoot back in the 90s, and she knew all this stuff. And I showed her one of my pictures one time, and she went bonkers over it. I'm like, what's so crazy about it? And to me, it was magical to me, because it was a barn that, like, when I was a kid, we used to go up to Boxley Valley all the time.
Yes.
And which is like my favorite place to go. And
where's that at?
It's in Newton County, where Jasper is. You follow it out.
Okay, I'm familiar with Jasper.
Yeah, it's off 71. You kind of go up down there and then loop around, like there was a Sandlow Gap, and then follow it down into Ponca, and it's Ponca area, but Lost Valley, Boxley Valley, the kind of flip-flop names are like right in there. And there's a barn, I think it's Highway 43. It's just this brown barn, and when I was younger, that's all I saw it as. But now, it's like I think about family histories. I do a lot of barn shots too if I have somebody driving me, because I'm not gonna sit there and the whole that's gonna be frowned upon in most circles, trying to take a picture while driving.
That is correct.
Highly frowned upon.
I think in Stripes, Bill Murray, one of his he was a taxi driver in the beginning of the movie, and he says, what I really like to do is take action photos while I'm driving, and it scared the bejeebers out of the girl in the back, the lady in the back.
Oh no.
So yeah.
But like going up there now, it's like when I look at these barns, I think about like family histories. It's like, people are working their hands off in these places and trying to do things to maintain their farm, and not knowing, like, maybe somebody found out like their significant other was pregnant, or family emergencies, that emotion that gets caught up in those things.
Right.
And at first when I started doing it, it's like, to me, it was like, kind of like, oh, I just captured it. But then it quickly caught on to me. It's like, no, I'm trying to tell a story within a single frame. It's not like people who make movies that have oodles, which is a scientific number somewhere, oodles of frames to tell their stories. I'm trying to tell it within one. And apparently, a really good friend of mine that's been helping me out the most, he used to work at Bedford. He's like just a camera jockey guy. I mean, he's kind of like just up there. Jay Hyatt. One day I had something going on my camera, and he's like, give me a call. So I talked to him. We talked for 45 minutes, and to me, it's like, this guy's time is not disposable, so it's kind of cool that he's taking the time in the first place to talk to me about this. And so he's going on, and he's like, and to me now it does make sense, but back then it didn't. He goes, when it comes to photography, if you were to use like the 100% rule, he goes, 15% of it comes down to your camera. It's on how your camera is just that little bit. He goes, the 85, he goes, it's your eye. It's how you choose your angles. It's how you use your scenery to tell your story. And he goes, you have the 85% nailed. And to me, I'm thinking more like 42 3/4 or something, And I try to explain it to him. It's like, to me, once I get out somewhere and I get in that mode, being an overthinker, it just shuts everything off. And then to me, it's almost like it goes to like a simple wireframe, like where everything's at, sun location, and all that. And it just simplifies to me. And it's kind of like, you ever point a dish, like a satellite dish, how like it has a little angle thing?
Right.
It's like I'll kind of work an area and kind of step around, and to me it's like, it kind of climbs up when I get to like where I think would be an opportune angle. And then, and sometimes it's almost just instant. Like I see something, it's like, boom, I'm already knowing where I'm going. And, and it's just, to me, it's natural once I get out there. I can't explain it. And whenever that Laura Stackhouse, we met up, whenever we went to Blanchard Springs a few weeks ago, she finally got her first long exposure waterfall, where it looks like the water's real smooth and all that. She got her first one, I helped her with that, and then she got her first sunburst, which a lot of people are like, oh, that's edited in. No, you put your camera on a certain mode, you take your picture, and it will make the sun look stretched out. And she took her first one, and to see her light up like that did a lot for me. Because like I'll tell anybody, I will help anybody in a heartbeat learn any aspect of their camera if I know it. If I don't, I'll look it up, I'll try to help them out the best that I can. But I'm really limited as far as much as what I know or what I can teach. Now, her, on the other hand, she got the exact same camera I did. So I have a little bit easier setup with her and what to do.
Right.
So, whenever she got her first long exposure, we were so tickled by it. I mean, she just looked like a little kid in the candy store. I was so happy for her. But I'll tell her, like I'll tell anybody, I will help anybody. I've offered old coworkers or husbands. I've offered anybody, if they want to learn, I will help them. But I will not tell them where to shoot from, because that's not, if you want to tell your story, you need to do it from your perspective, not mine.
Yeah.
And it's not to be rude, it's just I want people to be able to find their own way.
Right.
And my friend Laura, she shared her picture, like I was standing on one boulder, she was standing on the other side of it, she took her picture. And the one thing I love is like between hers, mine, and the entire group, we all went up there and we all took pictures of the same areas. And we all come back with something different feel, different looks. And it doesn't matter about the camera, because there's people up there running rigs that make mine look, like you got at Walmart or something. And theirs are ridiculous, and to like their feel, it's like nothing bad, at all. It's just their feel is different. It's like everybody has their own emotion to it, and I love that. I love how we can all go to do the same thing and get something totally different in pictures. But before, it would have been more of at face value. But now that I've my friend Cassie, the one that did the whole, kind of opened my eyes into the art and depth and all this side of this that I guess was already there, but I really can't explain it to people. I told her it shocks me. We did a spinning, I think this is right where you found me. We did a spinning wool, fire wool over falling water.
Yes.
Probably not the most brightest decision looking back, but hey, nothing got caught on fire, so we're good.
Yes.
We had everybody all around the area. We were paranoid watching where all the things were going. So, I mean, if you see it, there's a video going around up on our club, and it looks insubstantial. I mean, all you seeing is like this thing on fire getting spun around and like little sparks coming off, and that's it. But with the camera, because you're able to capture so much time in one frame, you see where the sparks traveled. And like I said, I think that's right where you found me, where I posted those.
Just about.
And that right there was really cool, because there is a guy there that when I was a kid, on Channel 11, they had, was it Derek Rose, the magician guy that was always on there doing stuff? And I was like, he always cracked me up. And come to find out, he was shooting just to my left, and I didn't even know it was him. And like we all posted the pictures, and I see that name, I'm like, why does that name click? Like somewhere in my head. Then I looked up, I go, oh my God, I was freaking out like a little kid. And it was cool because we all came away from there with different photos. And what was sad, Brendan, the leader of all this, she had set it up. She was supposed to be up there with us, and she couldn't because her dog had passed away that day.
Oh.
And been in the family forever. And one of the photos I took, the guy that was spinning the wool, he did like this perfect spherical shape. And I saw it, and it was like instantly I knew what I was going to do with it. And I even put on my Instagram, I said, this is Beep's, that's what she called her, Beep's ball. I mean, it was just like this perfect little ball, and I was like thinking that it would be cool to commemorate her dog is no longer with us. And I thought I feel kind of at times I feel bad because I don't want to feel like I'm trying to monopolize on that.
No, you were thinking about her.
It was like I knew that she couldn't be there, and I know it kind of let her, she was sad about it. But I wanted to be like, hey, you're not alone in this. We're all together, and it was just like my way to try to do something special. And she loved it, and because I've been through that road so many times with animals, and I get it. And so I was trying to do something, and it's been so crazy because it feels like I've unlocked more of just a depth in my own life. Because a lot of things like I've saw and experienced, it seems like I can do in these pictures. And there's like one at Blanchard where there's the rock cave cavern. It's like a really tall wall. There's a cave and this and that. I don't know how many people visit that place today and see that.
Where's Blanchard?
Blanchard is up near Mountain View.
Way up.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm heading to Paragould this weekend.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know. 2.5 hours away.
So, there's nothing really much out there except for like farmers type stuff, history, that kind of thing. It's still cool country. But
I'm DJing a corporate event up there.
I got you. No, it's all flight country to me, so I usually don't go like east of here. I stay more to the west and kind of meander around that way. But no, there is like this little route that I don't know where it came from. It was just sitting there, and like I bet people just walk by that thing and not even see it. But when I was looking at it, I was like, this tall sheer cliff. There's this route sitting there, and I'm like, I think this looks awesome. So I took the picture. And I took one from the inside and some other like one from the actual wall. And I shared it on the Facebook, and like a bunch of people liked it. And to me, it was like not technical, it was just impromptu, and that seems to be a lot of what people like. Like the waterfall shots you've seen lately, those are more technical. I had to sit there, I set the time in my mind, like how long with the light exposure, how much aperture I got, how open I got it, and distance. And it's like, before I just ran it like almost auto, like I put it in shutter speed, put it 30 seconds and go and hope for the best. But now I've gotten it down where it's like I don't make nearly as much mistakes. I used to go out, shoot 500 pictures on a day and come back, maybe have like 15 that were usable.
Oh.
And now it's like I'm getting 300 or 400 out of the same thing now. It's just clicked so fast in what I'm trying to do.
Now, are these completely different shots or a lot of the similar shots?
Well, being an overthinker, a lot of them is a similar shot.
Right.
I went to a dog patch earlier this year and got permission to go out there.
How nice.
And it was
I'm
really
about
cool.
to do a podcast about that on my other podcast.
Oh, cool. Yeah, our photography group's actually going up there mid-October.
Oh,
and we're going to
cool.
do a night shot, do like lasers, light show and stuff along. It's going to look cool. And but I went up there and there is this little chapel there, and I took probably 40 pictures of it because I was stepping around doing different angles, and I just didn't feel like I could capture what it looked like, the whole thing to the depth of it and everything. And with the sun being as unruly as it was that day, it was just a super clear day, which is not a great thing to be shooting in. Plus, it was hot. I'm chubby, and it didn't work out too well as far as that goes. But I went through and just took as many pictures of it, and finally I got a few that I felt were really good. But what I've learned when I'm doing that, I can't take the picture and keep looking down and looking at it. I got to keep going. So I spent like 3.5 hours out there and got various things. And the whole abandoned aspect, seeing nature reclaim, it kind of lit a fire as far as like I like seeing that. And so we left from there, went to Lost Valley, Boxley, and just happened to come across, and there was the elk right there. And I was so surprised because like I hardly ever see them. We don't ever really get a good time to go, and or I'm busy usually in the wintertime, but I'm gonna start up my schedule and start doing this more often. I've loved showing it off, and just today I was talking to somebody on Instagram. They're getting hit by that Imelda rain, that depression that came in that's like pouring all over Texas. They got flooded out.
Oh yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah, and they're really fired up because I shared those pictures and I was asking them like how they're doing, and they were like, it was I guess it's the significant other of the one I was normally talking to. And he added me on Instagram, and he just started loving all my stuff. And he goes, where are these at in relations like to Russellville and Eureka Springs? Because they're apparently planning on moving up there.
Gotcha.
And I was like, telling them, and so that's another thing that's been really weird to me. Like I'll go somewhere, and then like the dog patch thing. Yes. I'll go, like went there was not another soul there. I took my parents with me. It was just the three of us. We were out there, and we were checking it out. Most of the time they sat in the car. I don't blame them. It was ungodly hot.
Right. And
they did their thing, and I just wandered around, got the waterfall up there, and all sorts of stuff. Kissing Rock, which is like a real big thing. I never went there as a kid, so I didn't get to see it, and it's nice stuff. But seeing the patina of it now, the way it looks, it was just to me it was grand. But when I shared it, a lot of people were like, "Where, how did you get in?" Blah blah blah, and so I gave out the phone number to the owner to a few people so they can get in there too. I'm not going to sit there and hold anything exclusive to myself. Like knowledge, anything I can do, anything I can share, I will help. I mean, it's not fair that I can get access to something and somebody else not get access. So I will share. And I know some people are real tight-lipped on that, but I can't do that. This state it's even though it's private, that place, particular private property and everything. If people want to see it and somebody's allowing them, I'm not going to block them. I think they should be able to go do what they're, as long as it's not destructive, do what you want to do, enjoy it. It's all a natural resource. I guess it's my game and fish mentality. Share it, have fun with it. But I saw people go out there later and post pictures, and in the pictures you'll see like 6-7 people walking around in the background and stuff, and I'm like, it's kind of cool thing. Like I'll post pictures, I'll see people go there later, and it's like, feel like you're almost driving tourism just a little bit. Just they may not be much, but you're kind of like, people see it and they're like, oh, I really can go see that, and they go and check it out for themselves. I don't know. It's been real cool. I can't describe it because I figured I'd just be like, yeah, a few pictures, blah blah. But I'm hooked. I'm officially hooked on this. I've had my life. I've done this and that, and nothing real major. I wouldn't call myself famous. I will never call myself famous. I'll never call myself a photographer. To me, it's more of a hobby. Yeah. Other people may disagree with me vehemently, but that's on them. To me, I'm so humble about everything. It's just so shocking the reactions I've had. I've had people send me messages on Facebook that were like, "Thank you," about doing this and that. And I love that. And I had a lady thank me one time. She's like, "I'm not able to," and you can see in her profile picture she was bound to a wheelchair. Oh. And so and like I've seen people ask like, "Hey, how accessible is this or that?" And my overthinking mind, I could tell them like, "Look, it's not. You're not going to be capable to do this and that." And if if anybody ever wants to, I'll be like, "Hey, here's more pictures. I'll just send it to them." I know a lot of photographers are probably there going, "No, don't do it." But to me, that's not where my money's coming from right now. Right. So it's not. To me, it's no big deal. Eventually,
but it's nice that these people are living vicariously through you and through your photos, man. You're sharing that,
and I love that. I do, and I wish I had more time to get out and do stuff. Like I said, I want to upgrade the camera and get better, crisper images when I do my things. And but I mean, all in time. Because my plan was, if I ever get this and really stick with it, I want to give it a year, outgrow my camera. And my friend Stevie Bernard was all like, "I think I will." I'll see you replacing it by August next year. I was like, I'll wait until September just to show you up. And then I've already been shopping for a new one. So
for sure.
So it's like, I've kind of shot myself in the foot on that one.
Well, Cody Pafford, it sounds like you say you had no formal training in photography, but you've surrounded yourself with people that know what they're doing. Yeah. And if you have questions, you'll read about it. Oh, yeah. You'll look it up.
Oh, Google's my friend.
Google is your friend. Okay, so from an IT guy, I was wondering, Google or Bing? Bing it, man.
No, not even if I was drunk.
Okay, so Google everything. Oh, yeah. Google's the king. Okay, so you have these friends, and now when you're going out on these trips, do you set up an idea of what your shot list is going to be? No. Or do you go to an area and whatever inspires you?
Like lately, what's been happening is I'll see other people post stuff, and I'll be like, I might want to go visit that, or I might want to go check that out. It's never to one up. Everybody has their own angle. Everybody has their own thing that they do, and I love everybody's work. I hate my own usually because overthinking, but everybody else's work to me is just fine. And so I'll see it. I'm like, I've never heard about that, or a lot of places I've already visited and just revisit again. And really, if it's a place I've been to before, like in my mind, I will kind of like be like, already have like my spot. It's the thing I was telling you about. Like if I go out to a place, and because I worked at Game and Fish, a lot of times I studied topography maps. I studied, this and that, like to see levels and this and that places. And so working there, like I'd always, for officer safety reasons, I'd always study maps to know where things were at. Like we had an area that was known for calls. I'd like to know where the high ground was for guys. And so doing that, like, if I scouted a place, I'll kind of look at it and be like, oh, okay, well, here's the waterfall, it faces this way, and, you know, possible Milky Way shots over it, you know, different things.
What's a Milky Way shot?
That's like where you can see the Milky Way, the nebula, like over the skyline. I shared a few pictures. It's just like you see the kind of like the gases and stuff from the other systems, and it just makes really weird colors. I love it. And it was funny because like when I first started, yeah, Google helped a little, but mainly trial and error, because like learning my camera was the fun part. I've suffered, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of mosquito bites in the process of learning Milky Way shots. When we got flooded out back in May, at the end of May, living there where we were at, we got cut off for a while, so I was just like...
Oh, in Mayflower,
yeah, because it rose up over where the road going into our place and then a back way to get in there. Like, it was awful.
Yeah, it was definitely tough to get down there.
And they finally opened it up where people can kind of get out towards the end, but then by the end it was like pretty much dropping out, so it's kind of nice. But doing all that, like being cut off like that, I literally had nothing else to do. So I just kind of like looked up stuff. And since we don't have high speed out there, I don't get to watch videos like I want to see how, you know, other people do it. So a lot of it's just trial and error. And that to me is, in failure, I have found so much more than I have just constant success. And I'm glad it's come off that way so organically, that it's like, because of that, I know not to do that explicitly, you know, the camera settings, whatever. And so like when I first started doing it, like Milky Way shots didn't happen. It was awful. It was just like night sky. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? And then after I found out what I was doing wrong with my camera, set it, and I started rolling from there. And so I grabbed it from various places. Nothing, like my friends mentioned before, a lot of them go to like really cool places and take pictures of it from there. And Six Finger Falls is my first time getting it over like a cool locale. And it was kind of cool because like I got there late and everybody's all set up, and I got like kind of like the not so good spot. And
you're giving tourism a shot in the arm. I have no idea where Six Finger Falls is.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Miami.
Oh, I got you.
I just got here in 2009, and I haven't been able to travel around as much as you have.
You should.
So I'm living vicariously through you.
So Six Finger Falls is located up at outside of Dover. I think it's called Smyrna. There's like the little township they call it up there.
Okay.
It's not far from here. Like if you Google it, I'm not trying to sound like a smart aleck, but if you Google it, it will show you the exact location on it. And once you get out there, good luck finding reception.
Yeah, I know where Dover is. I've done some events up there. I DJ all over the state.
Oh, yeah.
But usually it's just driving there
and back.
You know, and I see the barn or the event location, the lake.
Yeah.
And then I go back home.
Oh yeah.
So I don't get to really spend a lot of time looking through my camera lens, and that's, man, I'm living vicariously through Cody Pafford.
Yeah. It's been cool. We you know, like my parents, when they're not able to go, like I'll come back and hook up the camera to the TV and I'll show them, and they're ooh and ah. And then again, my typical overthinker, I'm like, that's okay, you know. But I mean, people love it, and I get all this stuff, but to me it's just, I'm doing what feels natural, and I'm just trying to do the best I can for other people to let them have that moment, you know. When I did the dog patch thing, probably the most eye-opening thing was to hear people's experiences. Like, oh, that was my first job. That was, you know, this and that. And they would share their pictures from back then, and when it was a lot more, you know, upkept and this and that. And it was so neat to see everybody, you know.
You know, you're saying that. My brother-in-law was Robin in the Batman and Robin show. He's a little skinny guy, and he's still kind of skinny.
Oh, geez.
So yeah,
but no, and that was
funny. You're saying, yeah, that's my first job. Funny, I think a lot of kids did do a lot of summer jobs up there.
Yeah, and that was cool to me. Like my first job ever, I was still in high school. My neighbor was doing web design, and I was like, hey, I'll come help. And that's when I found I'm not really artistic as far as trying to set something up.
Okay, so web design's not you.
No, not in the slightest.
But IT, you're setting passwords.
I can do password stuff. I can do server administration. I can do hardware stuff, software. You know, I've helped out. Like we have our system that we do for the entire state. I can help people install it, troubleshoot problems that come up with it, and that's been cool. Because at first when I came here, I was like, I don't know, I need to go back into enforcement. But now it's like, this place is made for me.
Okay, so Mayflower, you grew up there. You went to high school in Mayflower as well. And you went straight into law enforcement?
No, okay, so I went to college for a little bit and did some IT stuff.
Okay.
And then
that's where you got your training. Okay.
And which I didn't finish it because then when I was part-time there and part-time at Game and Fish, and that was kind of a funny story. My mom, she was like, hey, look, they're hiring over here. I'm like, they're not going to hire me. And I was just out of high school. There's no way. Well, I got hired and worked there until I got full-time a year and a half later or so. And that was it for me. I was on cloud 9 because it was like, hey, I'm starting my state career and I can make some run of this. Well, then I got married and the hours were totally different between the two of us. And then that didn't work out, and so.
What hours did you work game and fish?
Oh, geez, that point I just came off midnight shift and was working like 2:30 to 10. Yeah, because we were back on 5:10 or 5/8, and then the ex was working normal banker hours, and so it just didn't. Things fell apart.
So what is
quick.
there to do at night with the game and fish?
Oh, people that are night hunting, spotlighting. There's all sorts of different things that they would do. Chupacabra calls, and one of them was a mangy raccoon. Like I already knew what was going on, but it was cool. We had people that were drunk that would call up there, and they'd be kind of lonely, so just kind of chit chat, let them go on their way. But then, you still had to keep your mind on the game. Officer safety was number one there, and we had our constant people who turn in a leaf rustling in the woods, type thing, and it was just all sorts of different things that was going on, and it was never the same thing day after day. And it was so seasonal. We would start it's late September, early September back then, because I don't think they had the seasons as stacked on each other like they do now. One season would go up, and then you'd be busy from there all the way until boating season started. And it was like, if you wanted off, good luck with that.
So where were you stationed out of?
Oh, outside of Mayflower.
Outside of Mayflower.
Yeah,
okay, I think I know where that
black gate on the
that
left-hand
thing
side
is, because I've been there. I talked to somebody when I worked at the sports station down in Little Rock. We used to talk to the game and fish guy on the radio. Now I'm totally forgetting what his name was, but
wasn't Reed? No,
might have been blonde guy. Kind of looked like the crocodile hunter.
yes.
Yeah.
Was it Trey?
Trey.
Yeah.
That's it. And we chit chat. In fact, he'd been to Bay of Honda down in the Florida Keys, and I don't know anything about sports, and I really didn't know a lot about the game and fish here in Arkansas. I've done saltwater fishing, but I have not done freshwater fishing quite as much. I did, a little bit in Miami, a little bit. You wouldn't expect it, but there is some freshwater. Oh. But he had been to Bay of Honda, so he talked. That's how he got an in with me, was talking about saltwater fishing down there. And then he talked about some game and fish here in Arkansas. Now, did you only stay in Mayflower, or did you get to travel around with the game and fish?
Never really got to travel. We had employee appreciation things where, we went to different places.
Sure.
But that was pretty much it. Since we were 24/7, we were the necessary crowd that had to be there to man the station, to listen to everything, make sure everything was copacetic. But it's I don't know, it was such a rush, and then it was sad because whenever I went to let my officers know, like a bunch of them were on my Facebook.
Right.
I told them, I was like, all right, after, oh gosh, how many years was that? Like 12, 11 years? 2005 something. It's almost 12 years.
12 years? You don't look that old.
No.
How old are you?
I'm only 33.
33?
Yeah, so after 12 years of working there, I started there at 19. And after doing that for 12 years, I'm like, I'm hanging it up, I'm going to another job. And they, and there was like a huge outpour. Like guys were like, no, we're gonna miss you. And to me, I'd ramble with them and, chit chat and, get the job done and help them find people that they didn't know they could find half the time. And it worked. I don't know. It hit a nerve with me because it was really sad that I was trying to fix something else in my life at the time by having to do that so I can get better hours, which that didn't work, but whatever.
You never know.
No, I'm fine with that. That's another thing. When I'm doing this photography thing, it's like I've had to come to terms with a lot of stuff that's happened. The loss of life, dispatching, and different things. I was one of those. It's like you're supposed to be, be the duck. Let it hit you and just roll off. Well, I was horrible at that. I was good at hiding it, but I was horrible at doing that. So just with time and doing this and escaping and everything else I have, it's just been. Life has just come off the way it should have. It's starting to really click for me now. And being as idle as I've been most of my life, not doing a whole ton with it, it's like I finally found a way that I love to actually get an outlet and help others out. I used to be a lot heavier than I am now.
Right.
Started last year doing this snack, cutting back on junk food and actually tracking my calories, and I've knocked off just about 60 pounds since last year. I was down a little bit more than I am now, but I kind of taking a break because I'm trying to trick my body and see oh, hey, we're starting this all over at the lower weight and see if I can get to drop some more. But and it was funny because that came from an altercation that I was having with my ex-wife at the time. I went to go for a walk, and I was like, "Oh God, take me now," because it was a short walk. It was a short walk.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm praying for death, and so it was just kind of like, look, you've let yourself go. It's time to go. And so, hiking, doing this and that, going out and doing these adventures. It's been nice, and knocking out multiple miles, not having to, begging for death again. Or do any of that stuff. It's been real cool. I'm glad it kind of like went hand in hand because originally I was doing it for paintball to get back into it.
Right.
And I'm just kind of falling out with that. It's just, I ripped my calf muscle playing, and it was just like, it was awful. And so now, after everything's healed, it's just been so much more fun doing this to me and getting to show people. Like I said, not everybody has the opportunities I've had, and I don't want to squander them, And my thing is I want to try to do any place that I go to, I want to do it justice. When I went to Calico Rock, I only caught that road sign. I had to go back. I went back a few weeks when we did that night shot at Blanchard.
Yeah.
I went back and I went to Calico, went to the abandoned part of town, which was awesome. And then went over to City Rock Bluff, which is across the way from it. And I went to go to another spot, couldn't find it, so I was like, I'm okay with that. Hit a few more little random places up there, and it was just really, really cool. And I don't know, I wish people got out more and saw what we have in this state.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of people like, there's not a whole lot to do here. It's like
There is so much to do.
If you just open your eyes and look around, this is one thing I do like about these Facebook pages. People will post, and you get to see more of it. Like I've been places, I'm like, wait, man, I didn't know that was there. Yeah. And it's just been wonderful. And
I just looked up Paragold. There's an aquatic thing up there.
Yeah.
There's a zombie museum up there. I went,
didn't
really?
know that.
I didn't know that.
Sounds kind of like a dead end.
Yeah.
So-
But you're saying about what inspired you to drop the weight. I was a security guard after high school. I moved down to the Florida Keys and became a security guard down at the Tiki Bar in Alamorada, Florida. And I gained a lot of weight. Yes, I walked around on the beach a little bit, but I gained a lot of weight. And I said, I want to get in the fire department.
Okay.
And that's what inspired me to lose the weight. So it's so funny what inspires you to lose the weight. And I didn't know we were going to get weight loss tips from Cody Pafford here.
No, I wouldn't follow my stuff. I started doing keto for a little bit. That was the absolute worst thing for what I was trying to do.
Okay.
I mean, some people it works for. I dropped off like 10 pounds in 2 weeks. I was happy with that. But whenever you're doing like strength training or something like that, your body does need carbs. And I was like, why is it taking me so much longer to recover? And then now it's like bread's a little bit friendly for that stuff. So I've just balanced it out now where I'm being chubby and taller. It's like I can do like 2,400 calories. I try to knock off like 300 or 400 a day, sometimes 600. When I first started, I was knocking off like not even 1,000. Like I was still 1,200 calories below where I should be, and I was like, why is it so slow to lose?
It's amazing that you're counting calories. See, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Are you doing exercise as well?
Yes, I do cardio. Like I said, I haven't done it lately, but I'll do cardio. Yesterday I was doing
cardio?
Like sprints and stuff. Where I live, it's just a gradual hill. Oops.
Yeah.
So I'll walk down it because I'm prone to rolling ankles, but I'll run up it, and I'll haul I'll flat out run sometimes. And before I do like half a mile, and then it started getting to the point where I was averaging like 2 miles each time I go out. But there'd be like alternating between jogs and walking, and sometimes flat out running. I didn't do it for a while after I tore my leg because I was terrified it was going to happen again because I just. That was like one of those weird things. It's like I thought I was pretty invincible. No, not even slightly. Then I do like resistance band training because I don't have a lot of room for weights and stuff. So I'll do like 50 pounds of like various exercises, building up this and that. And I've noticed it helping quite a bit. But it's been not even about that. It's just putting myself in a way where when we went to a place called Moonshiner's Cave up at Devil's Den, and it's not even. I think it's like 0.8 of a mile. Out there and back, so like 1.6, and it was a washout, sharp rocks, multiple angles, awful walk. But it was all downhill there, and
washout means slippery rocks.
Yeah, like
so you were losing balance too.
Yeah,
that hurt your stabilizer.
Oh yeah, and then being chubby and everything, I didn't want to settle well. So,
well, how'd you feel going up there? Did it feel better?
Once we got done with it, I felt all right. Like I was back to praying for the end on the way up. But we've been down there moving around the waterfall. My friend Cassie, we were taking all these pictures, and it was kind of cool because like when I take her on these places, she would sit there and she does a fountain pen thing and does all that. So she'll write in her books and
What's a fountain pen thing?
Like she has fountain pens, like those really expensive looking old school type fountain
She
pens.
actually writes on paper?
Yes.
What a novel.
I
Kids.
know.
Kids. Learn how to write on paper.
she has like Instagram. She does all that too. She'll like write down her sayings on it, and some of them are not, family friendly, but it's from the heart. So she, that would be her thing, and
hey, it's an outlet.
Exactly.
However you have to make your outlet, do it. Don't keep it inside, because that's how mass shootings start. There, I said it.
No, yeah. And,
talk to somebody.
And it was just crazy because we would we would take the pictures and she would do the same thing I do, like not tell me where to shoot from, and she's the one that introduced me to like doing all sorts of stuff. The rule of thirds. When she told me about that, I go, what? And told me how to like split out my pictures and whatever I do this, and now it's like I didn't even know it was a thing. I thought she made it up, and then like just recently, like I've gotten access to Linda courses online through LinkedIn or whatever it's called.
What's a Linda course?
It's like LinkedIn. They have videos like for your profile, business profile.
Yeah, I know what that is.
They have courses on there, like you can do things. There's photography ones on there.
Cool.
And I started watching those, and it cracked me up because when I was watching the camera ones, they were explaining stuff, and I'm like, oh, I already do that. I didn't know what it was called, but now I do.
Right.
And so it's kind of cool that a lot of stuff that I was being shown, I already do. Now the stuff about the camera aspects, I didn't know. That's where I'm still real new on. But watching those, it's like I went full manual this other weekend. I haven't switched off since. I've been just because like in my mind, I see the light. I need to know where I need to be, and then it just works. It just clicked. And it was funny because like the one I was teaching, Laura, she was taking her pictures, and I was sitting there next to her, and I'm like, if I do it this long, I should be able to cut it in half by doing this and that. So I did it, and it worked out perfect. And I was like, like a little kid, just so excited about it. And it was funny because she turned around and just took a random picture. There's a mill right past the waterfall, and she took a picture of that. And then later she looked down, there was like a copperhead or some snake we didn't even see. She just took the picture, and it was just like going on its way. And I was like, we looked at it later, I go, well, how close is that? She goes, I don't know, but it couldn't have been too far away.
Right.
And but no, it's been
nature.
Yeah, exactly. I've got one picture of a snake so far. One we got flooded out. I found a few that were in flooded fields and stuff. But one of the coolest things that whenever we were flooded in, when we could still get access to this one place, there's a tree out in the middle of the field. Of course, the Arkansas River was in that field. And so we drove by it at night, and I looked over, and the receptors of my eyes are kind of big, so I see lights and stuff, like not like the way people do sometimes. Like I'm more sensitive to them. And
you wear glasses?
Yeah, I wear contacts and glasses, but I'm wearing contacts right now. I didn't know if I need to get all dolled up or anything.
But you actually have a good eye.
No, yeah. Well, they say I do. I don't ever claim it. It's just natural to me. But I looked over and I see this tree, and I see like the light pollution from like North Little Rock, Maumelle, up in the air, and I can see like the outline because I've been driving around in dark for a while of the Milky Way a little bit, and I'm like, I wonder. So I went back to the house, got the camera, and went out there and got the tree framed up and took the picture, and it was just so cool that like to me it was just so just calm. Like it's like if I ever get and I'm not fooling myself, I'll go look at my own pictures every once in a while because I'm always critiquing them.
Sure.
I went back.
You're your own worst critic.
Exactly.
Always.
And my friend said like you got to stop, and I'm like, but I can't. It's like telling me not to breathe. And so I'll sit there and I look back at it, and I'm like, it's just so calming to me to see this tree in this field. It's flooded, and it's like if you didn't know, it just looks like it's the same. But what's really cool in the picture itself, in the water, there's reflections of the stars on it. And I didn't even notice that when I took the picture. I've been finding that a lot. I'll take a random picture of something, and I'll find like a bug that I didn't even see, and this and that. Because to me, I'm looking at the overall image, not just the little parts of it. And so those little surprises have been really cool. It's like I was on Emerald Park taking a picture of the Capitol, and I heard the helicopter, but I didn't see it. And I was framing up a picture, took the picture, and then later I looked, and there's like a little bug that's like right by my lens. I was kind of up there, and there was the helicopter. I go, oh, there it was. But no, it's been a lot of fun, and the connections I've made. I mean, some very near and dear friends already, and even with crises happening and with people like Ola Beeps. It's been really cool to been able to offer that shoulder that they might not have had before like that. I was a random stranger, but I'm wired to be as helpful as I can on all facets, and so it was just really cool to find these new people. And I've kind of got like a little bit of a cult following on Instagram, and some of the people, like I have people. There's one I think his handle's like West Rome. He's from up at Washington State, I think. Seattle, somewhere up there, someplace that has like a lot of stuff that I want to go to. And he was just he always comments on my photos, this and that, and like to me, I'm just like, oh, it's cool, but they love it, like composition, this and that. And before, if you would have called me back in like April, I would have been like, what are you talking about? That doesn't look composition. But now it's just because it's like I can't explain it. Like I said, when I get to some place, it just simplifies, it dumbs down, and I try to do my best not to capture people when I don't have to. I went to a waterfall before, and there's so many people, I was like, I can't do it. So I went back like a weekend or two later, super early, and got it. And so it's just I'm more of a natural aspect. I know some people like make their money on people, like taking pictures of them, and I have no qualms about it. I don't particularly do well taking pictures of people because with my photography, I want to capture what I want to, the mood, the aspect, and all that stuff of it, where they capture more of the super uplifting and want to turn something out of something that may not be, and like make it over glowy.
That's the freedom you have,
exactly,
Cody Pafford, is you take pictures of what you want. It's not a job for you. It's a passion. Now, I do a lot of weddings, and I know those pictures, and I'll do a corporate event this weekend, and yes, there'll probably be a photographer running around. In high school, I took the ASVAB test. I was going to go in the Navy. The top two things on my ASVAB were photographer and beautician. So, yes, I've always had a passion for photographs. Oh, yeah. I had a Kodachrome when I was a kid, a little Kodak Instamatic, and Polaroids, and through the years, and you mentioned the Nikon Coolpix. I had one, of course, and in my van right now, I have a Canon Rebel T6, and you're saying yes, you take a lot of pictures for free, and if you had some things, you're making memories for these people.
Oh, yeah.
Last weekend, I caught the band Bad Habit. I've had them on the podcast, and I've developed kind of a like for them and following them around. They're a young band, so I took 156 pictures and posted them on the Facebook and tagged them, and so they can see them, and they want, wow, thanks for all the pics. Because bands are appreciative of that.
Yeah.
If as a DJ, when I was a young DJ, I wish I would have had somebody taking pictures of me doing my action stuff. I probably would have had more jobs and have been more famous. So you are filling that role. But in other aspects, you're filling the role of people that cannot get around to these places. You're giving them a view, and really, your picture on Channel 11, that has got to be one of the highlights for a photographer, is the appreciation enough to, hey, I have this multi-million-dollar TV station. I want to put your picture on that TV station. And how did that feel?
It was surreal. Like it's funny because when I was a kid, I was on that channel before. They had Kid of the Week, and I somehow got that when I was a kid. My mom
Kid of the Week.
Yes, my mom entered me in all this.
You are famous.
No, anyway, so their Instagram, they took one of my pictures and reposted it on their Instagram as well. One of my Pettigene pictures I took not too long ago, and it's like I can't explain because it's like that's not my idea of what I want to do, but it makes me feel giddy. I guess that's the best way to put it, because it's just so surreal that somebody out there took time to go, hey, that's worth our time to show off to other people. Because I mean, this field is saturated with photographers.
Oh,
there's
for
so many. And everybody has their own niche that they feel that they do, and I love that for that. But it's like what I'm trying to do, and because I've had people suggest things, and it's kind of like I take the little pieces of kind of like what I've been told, but mainly that's just camera aspect. I've been asking my friends, should I upgrade my lens? Should I get a new camera? And different things, and they've just been like, do what you do. And I'm like, oh crap, that doesn't help me at all, And so
I still haven't broke down and gotten a new lens. I want to,
I got that
because
one.
I want to take pictures like you. Like the 200 lens, or what's the longer lens?
Okay, so right now I'm running an 1855 for my short, my wide angle. Well, that's not my widest angle, but that's the one that came with the camera. Then it came with a 70 to 300, which on a crop sensor that's like 450, because it's 1.5 on a Canon. It's like 1.6 crop factor.
Eyes glazing over.
I gotcha.
No, really. Learning though.
I did the same thing.
Amazing.
I did the same thing though. Whenever they told me, I'm like, what is? I don't. Okay.
What I should have said was I understood about 3 of those words.
But no, so like the millimeters on it, the bigger the number, the further out pretty much you see. Like your frame, you'll still have the same megapixels, but it's concentrated to like that focal length of like 450 millimeters out and so forth. Like one's 300, but like I said, it multiplies because.
Now, do you set your megapixels to the highest?
Oh, you have to. You have to set it.
So I shoot zoom in on that little bug that was a helicopter and go, oh look, I captured that by accident, but I got it. Happy.
And so that's what's crazy about it. So like to me, like this guy in Little Rock that he always compliments me on my stuff. He's like, he goes to Two Rivers Park, he always gets the animals, and I love that, because I hardly ever get animals in my pictures. Right. And that's like his thing. He runs with it, and I'm like, hey, more power to you. And he was telling me that, like, my Milky Way shots, and this now, I'm like, to me, those are easy. Because, like, I know about what what's enough trial and error. I know where my camera is sensitive enough to pick it up, and I just set it up, frame it with whatever kind of border I'm going to do.
Set it up on a tripod?
Oh, you have to.
Okay, always a tripod. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm doing 30-second exposures. Because
yes.
The new lens I got, it's a 11 to 16 millimeters, so it's super wide. And for that particular one, I can do it to 30 seconds. And before I get trails, some people do trails, and I love to see them. But I did one once where I did like a all-nighter when I was taking all these different pictures, and I was trying to make as many stacks so I can do different things with them in editing, because I suck at editing, so I'm trying to learn how to do it. And watching it play out and stacking it and stuff, it had a thing where you do star trails, so I checked it out. And
what's a stack?
So when you do like star images,
yes.
If you take your camera and set it up to like a higher ISO, like which is required, like my camera runs between 100 and 25,600 or 26,500. I can't remember. It's either or. It's super high, 24,600. Super high number. You take that picture, it's gonna look grainy. It's gonna look at your stuff. You'll see like little dots everywhere. You can't really use it for print. It looks cool. You can share it on stuff, and it'll be all right. But what you need to do, if you take these pictures, like multiple, like what a lot of people will do,
yes.
They'll take, we'll just say 10. Keep it simple. They'll take 8 to 12 seconds at like a higher ISO, about 6400 or 8000 depending on camera. Take 10 of them, and then take those later, and like Sequator is the one I use. There's a few other ones that cost. I got mine for free because I just want to try and see if it's worth a while. And they take the images and it stacks up, it matches the stars up on each picture.
Gotcha.
What it does is it knocks down that noise, so it makes it less grainy. And like 10 of them usually knocks it down enough where you can get a decent print out of it. Now, some people, they have the cameras that can handle that, where they can take a single picture and it does fine. But my camera is like right in the middle of the road. Like, it's not super low end, but it's not high end either. It was a good investment, but it's like, like I said, I've been wanting to get a new one to try to do that better, but I don't want to do that stack, because I know certain people that will stack, and what they'll do is they'll get like they'll do compose a piece where they'll have like the foreground done a certain way, like they'll get their early capture a picture of it, then they'll take like their night sky and put it over it to kind of get the good contrast. And I mean, that has its place, and I love to see it, but I won't do it because I like to keep mine what I caught in that single frame. Yeah. Now, when I do this, if I ever do stacks on stuff, that's more of like I captured my one, I just want to make it clear. I don't add to it. Like whenever we were up at Blanchard, I had pictures where I had like a fog rolling in off of the water. And then I had one where I had a couple of meteors flying through the sky, and I got those. And it's like, when I got bored, I stacked them to get the fog and a bunch of different ones. But to me, I can't do it. I want it to be what I caught at that time. Other people do it, and it's lovely, but I'm so purist about that part, I can't do it. It's like what I captured in that one frame is what I want.
Yeah, I'm getting the concept of stacks. I use Photoshop myself a lot to make flyers, and when I want to make the lettering come out, I will double it, duplicate it, and it'll come out clearer.
Yeah, see, you've lost me now.
So you don't Photoshop at all?
I have Photoshop. I got that little, was it $10 a month thing where you get Photoshop, Lightroom, and all that?
No, I went ahead and I got the 15, and I enjoy it. I didn't want to put it on the cloud or anything. Yeah. I'm afraid of the cloud. I think it's like Terminator. I think it's Cyberdyne system.
Yeah,
Skynet. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's like I have my for now I only have one external hard drive that I put all my pictures on. I'm about to start doing the setup and running multiples of it just so I can have it in case one crashes.
Right, good idea.
And it's like it's funny now because like I'll go back and look at my first works, and I'll look at them, I go, what was I thinking, and this and that, and I love to see my own progress of where I've come from.
Yeah, don't listen to my first podcasts.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing about it though. It's all trial and error. It's the most fun I've had is failing in this because it just Because like I said, if I would have got this the easy way, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much as I do now.
Yeah.
Because like whenever, like one time I took my parents up to a waterfall and they were sitting there watching me take pictures, and I was having a tough time with this one because I didn't have the setup that I needed, and I was just trying to make the best of what I had. And I don't know how many pictures I took, but finally one just worked. And I was just doing like this little happy dance. My parents saw me do it, and they loved it. And it's funny because my mom, she's learned, you know, she took pictures every once in a while, but she didn't know. And whenever I was talking about that one that she shared one of a sunset on Lake Catherine, and I went nuts over it. And I was just like, you can't take a better picture than this one right here. And she didn't get it. And it's just like, it was just natural. So I guess that's where that came from. But no, it's been so much fun, and like all the people I've met through this have been really cool. It's funny because like I think the one that I shared, I did a 15-minute long exposure on this one place, and the colors are really drab, and that's because it was in JPEG. I have color profile on my camera a certain way I like it, and I didn't know it was affecting that. And I edited it up just to make it look more crisp, and which was weird because where the moon was bouncing off the water, it turned it blue. And it was like my first time anybody's like criticizing one of my things. They're like, it looks so fake. And I'm like, well, here's the original. And then, because I always tell people, if I edit something, I will do it. I'm not gonna, because there's people who will take other people's work. They'll be like, they'll go take a picture of a certain place, and then they'll have like this, like somebody else have like a sunset, and they'll take that sunset and drag it over their picture. And it's like, I don't want to be that guy. It's like, if I didn't capture it, I'm not gonna share it. And like even my friend that comes along with me once in a while, she takes pictures with the camera, and I'll send them to her, and that's it. I'll delete them. I'm like, hey, they're yours. Do it whatever you want to do. You can just use the camera. I don't care.
That's a purist right there,
yeah,
Cody. That says something about you.
And because I told her, I was like, if you take the picture, it's your handiwork. It's your eye. It's your angles. That's all you. And I will only take credit for stuff that I do. And after seeing and hearing like some other people that have done that, where they've taken other people's work, I've been angry because it's people that I used to look up to and see their stuff, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, really? Never mind. And so I don't want to go that route with them. You know what I mean? And
no, I've had this with other photographers that say they take pictures of an athlete, and then the school will use that picture without crediting them and Photoshop it and you know, take the image of the athlete out and put it on a different background, and the photographer will say, hey, that's my image. That's my work.
Yeah, that would bother me immensely.
That should bother you.
Yeah, I couldn't, because like I don't know. I see other people's stuff, and I'm just like, that's their print. That moment in time was theirs. It was for them to capture and show off. And like I'll see people with some stuff that looks overly done. Like I've done a couple of overly done things, and that's when I started other Instagram, because I have fun editing it, but it's not a mainstay. Like it'll never be a mainstay. I mean, yeah, it's eye catching, but as far as it goes, I don't want to be known for super vibrant when it wasn't, you know, type thing. And but no, it's been so awesome. I can't explain like just the group of people I've been introduced to. Sean Harrington's another one. It was kind of funny when we were doing our spinning wool. He was up there doing the spinning of it, throwing the flames out, and he ended up falling and busting his face on something. I felt bad, but you know, then like we lost our lighter because they landed in the water or went out. It's like everybody was like, I got one. You know, it was a lot of fun, and he's been helping me out. Like I ask these people, I'm like, hey, is it worth getting a new camera, or do I just need to upgrade my lenses? And it's cool because like a lot of the times it's like, hey, it's gonna end up being whatever you want, and so it's like, well, yeah, y'all still aren't helping me that much. And so, like I said, it's just been so much fun, the whole thing. And then like when you came along, I was kind of like, what's this about? You know,
right, who's this guy?
Because seriously, I will never consider myself like pro in my field, like ever, because it's not my intent to. I'll never snub or do anything towards anybody or say anything bad about them, you know. Like I said, everybody has their thing that they do, and it's lovely in its own way. But the way I do mine is I want to be able to tell a whole story just in one frame, you know. And I love that. I love now being in a place where I feel like I can do that a lot better. Because when I first did, I was you know, being an overthinker, and with all the stuff that's been going on, like with my parents, I feel like I was just going there and capturing a flat image. Yes. But now that like when I go certain places, I'll have like a song stuck in my head, and I'll kind of like try to capture certain aspects. Like if it's like, you know, a romantic song or something, like I'll try to capture more of the curve of the water, you know, different things, and try to let it play out like that. I mean, it's not anything people will know, but in my mind, it's like when I see it, that's what it'll remind me of. Going back to like some song that I've heard in passing or something. And I just adore that. I love being able to get these pictures out, show people, because most of the ones I share, the lovely thing about this since my camera is set up to do the instant sitting to my phone, I'll get the pictures and they're all JPEG preview sizes, 2 megabytes a pop.
Right.
I can share those all day. Anybody tries to steal them, they're going to print them out. They're going to come out all pixelated. Yeah, good luck with that one.
Right.
And so I rarely put out my actual full-size 24 megapixel pictures. I just put out those little ones. Because on Instagram and on Facebook, they will come out fine. You zoom in, yeah, you'll lose quality, but it's just kind of give people an idea. Now, eventually I do want to sell prints if I can, but again, that would go back into my hobby. That'll finance me traveling and upgrading my camera.
That's the thing about DJing. If I make $1, 99 cents is going back into the DJ business.
Exactly.
I'm buying new speakers, a new microphone, new turntables, whatever.
Exactly. And right now, a friend of mine, I printed off 15 of my pictures, 3 different ones, 5 at a pop, and I'm trying to sell those. She does the little, was it Bella Rustina? They go out to different places and it's knickknacks, things they make, and they try to sell them.
Neat.
And I've given them 15 of it, and they made a little thing for me that says Explore Arkansas, and they're trying to, sell my pictures, and I've yet to sell any, which I'm not really foul about that because...
No, and you might, you may or you may not.
No, and it doesn't hurt me though.
It's not your day job.
Yeah, it's not my day job, and that's the thing I love about it, because I've the funny and kind of cute thing, my first picture I actually sold was my parents, but it was that barn.
Aww.
Because that was our place. And the way I tell anybody, when I was a kid, I found myself on those back roads. I found me on being lost out there. My parents said that we were safe. They knew where we were at. I didn't. But, you kind of get away from everything. Being an overthinker in training at that time, it was just what's the point? What do you do? And it's just I found myself out there. And then working where I worked, I kind of got to see the other side of it at Game and Fish, and resources and the meaning of it. But then, I didn't have much time to travel. I didn't have a whole lot of time to go out and do things, or if I did, I was so tired, it was just I wanted to sleep. I didn't want to adult. And now it's weekends come and I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to go out and explore. And one of the cool things when I was younger, we used to watch that Chuck Dobish. He's a TV personality guy. Okay. He was always on Channel 11, Exploring Arkansas, I think it was, or Discover Arkansas, I forget what it's called, but he used to go around different places. And we would follow up and go to those places after that a lot of times. Well, working for AETN, where he works at, AETN in Conway, and working where I work, we have Arkansas. Oh gosh, Education Television.
No, I know AETN.
Oh, Chuck Dobish.
Chuck Dobish, okay.
And he was he always
Cal,
traveled.
Cal Richardson works over there.
What's that name sound familiar? But anyway,
he's another DJ.
Oh, we have the system that we're over, we set passwords. He called one day, and he was like, "I need to reset my password." I was like, "Why does that voice sound familiar?" Then he gave me his number, his unique number, and I looked up. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "I know who you are." And so it was kind of really coming to full circle. Yeah. But that was before I was really doing a photography thing. But it's been real surreal, and because I didn't think a lot of people would like what I do or whatever, and that was never my aim to be a crowd pleaser. But it seems like a lot of people have come to accept or like what I do. And like I said, it's just natural. I can't explain it.
Well, Cody Pafford, I was digging a little bit earlier into your time at Game and Fish, and I was trying to figure out whether you got to travel all over the state with Game and Fish, and maybe that developed a love for the state. But it seems like your parents were the ones that gave you that love.
I will tell anybody. I will tell anybody in this life. I was like, anything that I have and I own, I owe to my parents. They put me on this trajectory. I have no sob story when it comes to my parents.
Yeah.
And they were like, everything that's instilled to me, everything I am, that's because of them and what they've done for me. They've sacrificed a lot.
So what are the places they used to take you when you were a wee lad?
Like Queen Wilhelmina State Park.
Oh, I know that mountain.
And we never...
Great weddings up there.
Oh, gosh.
And you look, Oklahoma. Look at that.
Exactly. I took a picture on that backside trying to do that, and I got a selfie
with Oklahoma in the background.
Oh yeah,
it's back there somewhere.
But no, we like Queen Wilhelmina Rock Cabins, which is kind of North Arkansas near Hector. A lot of the Buffalo River. We canoed like a 22-mile section of it or something like that when I was younger.
Yeah, I've taken 65 all the way up, and even
right
7.
Grinders Ferry.
And there's waterfalls all over that place. So lots of great things to look at. And I always want to stop and take pictures of it, but I'm always on my way to another event. So I'm time constricted. You are not.
That's the bad thing about it. Sometimes it's, from what I've discovered in doing all this, sometimes it's kind of hectic trying to get from point A to point B. but some of the best places I have found were like the in-between places, like just stopping at a random place. Like if I have a plan where I'm going somewhere, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna kind of swing by here. And sometimes the most fun stuff I've done that. When I went to Queen Wilhelmina last, I stopped first originally by Little Missouri Falls, and it's like a little drive down in the woods, and then you get there's like a little bit of a hike. It's a nicer road comparatively to other places I've been, but it's like they paved or they did like some kind of paving looking thing, but it's broken up because of rocks and growth over the years. It's an easy walk, and I went down there, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna go to Queen Wilhelmina. Hit Queen Wilhelmina, that was fine. Then went over to Cossatot, and I didn't know the trails. I got that All Trails app, which is really good, but I didn't think ahead of time that I was gonna really need it. I went down there, found some trail that I thought was going down to the Cossatot Falls, which was not. It was a goat trail, and I almost died because it was super steep. I forgot water. It was horrible.
Goat trail, that means steep.
Yeah, it was horrible. Like there was places I was like narrower than my feet, and I'm like, I don't like this.
You're giving me little gems with your throwaways. The All Trails app. There's an app for that?
Yes, it does. It will tell you. Like you can look up different trails. It'll tell you like how hard they are, ease. Tell you pretty good directions if dogs are allowed. People post pictures of like where people are going out there, and it's just a real cool app. It's really useful. Like when I went to like up near Dover, they have what's called Long Pool, and it's just a rec area, and it's real nice. You know, there's like a big rock. I don't know if people jump off. It looks like they would if the water's higher, but I've never caught it at high water. I went up there once, and there's a waterfall like a mile outside of the camping area. In fact, it's between 9 and 14 campsites. There's like a little road you can go up and it's just like a mile out there. Nice little hike, and it was my first solo one that I went and did. And it was kind of a cool thing because that day my mom was sick, and she wanted to go to the graveyard where we have a bunch of family buried and spend time with them. So she couldn't go. So I went up there. I stopped by the graveyard first, and I tried to do a Facebook Live video to surprise her, but reception there's not a thing. And so I didn't get to do that part.
You got regular videos on your phone, right?
Yeah, but I tried to do it like where she can see it live.
Yeah.
But I missed it, so I took pictures of it and sent it to her. And then I went over to Long Pool, and I used that app, and it kind of it was okay directions, but it didn't really explain because I took like another mile and a half getting lost trying to find the entryway. But after I found my way
sometimes getting lost is the fun part
too,
right?
It was cool because I got to see more of the area. So I did all that, went in there. Oh, sorry, is that me?
No, that's me.
Okay, and so I went through, and it was cool because I get out there and I'm like getting nervous. I'm like, I don't know, I might have walked right past this thing, didn't even know it. And then I get up there, and there it is. It's like I hear the water, and I get up, and it's just, I sat there. I don't know, like I said, it was my first solo one to that actually, like, because I went to Lake Catherine like the weekend or two before that. I took my dad with me, and it was cool. I got a picture of him out there and all that, but this is my first solo one, so I get out there, and I'm just like, I don't know, I stood there for like 15, 20 minutes in just awe. I mean, it's just like sweeping rocks, moss everywhere, and it was gorgeous. And then there's a lot of people, it's like unnamed, but they call it, like some call it Lower Long Pool Falls. There's the main ones behind it, but like the hill going up to it, I didn't want to go up to and go up at the time. I'd already did a mile. I'm not really sure of how healthy I am to be doing all this at the time. So I stayed down there, I took my pictures, and I was happy with that. And then I thought it was Long Pool, somebody corrected me, which that's fine. I didn't know any better, but that was like my first time, like I was just like, boom, I'm hooked. This is it right here.
Yeah.
And sometimes I take videos of places where I go, because the pictures do fine, but I like to have like a memento for me. And what's crazy, my camera does this now, but I'll just record those on my phone, 4K, 60 frames, and it does fine for that. And plus, if I need to move around, I can do it a lot easier than lugging that DSLR around. And I don't know, it's just been, because at first I didn't really have a clue what I was going to do with it. I just wanted to take pictures because I went to, okay, so what really started it is when I went to Gatlinburg, the tallest mountain I've ever been on was over there, Klingman's Dome, 6,600 feet. And I get on, well, when you first get there, there's like a big trail, and I'm like standing at the bottom of it, I'm taking pictures, and I had an iPhone 7 Plus at the time. And so I'm sitting there
He's not bragging.
Oh, no. No, I used to be the Android guy. I was totally Android. And then, like, the ex-wife, she worked at Apple. She kind of taught me into it. And then I got this car that it doesn't even have a CD player in it. So the only way I can get music is doing, plugging up the phone. And Android, you plug it in, it's like, we'll charge it, but that's it. Enjoy your Bluetooth. And so I'm kind of an audiophile. I've upgraded my radio. So, like, now I have where I plug in my phone and get it crystal clear. So I had to kind of, like, settle for Apple. Nice. I know there's going to be some Apple files out there just like, no, we don't do that. So,
I got a Samsung.
Yeah.
Note 10, and then like a week later the Note. No, wait, I got a Note 9, and a week later the Note 10 came out.
That sounds about right. I got the X or whatever, the 10, and I love the phone. It works, so I'm happy with that.
What is it? 11's coming out Friday.
Yeah, 11's coming out. At first, when they showed that camera thing, I was like, yes. It's like, no, you don't need that.
No, you don't need that. You have an SLR, you know.
And it will never replace it. I know that, but part of me is like, that's pretty handy if I ever need to. I carry it around. So eventually I might do it, but I still own this one, so I'm gonna be paying on it for a while. But no, it's been like I got so far off task. I promise.
No, that's all right. We got time, man. You can get back on track. I like when they go off on little tangents.
Oh, it's all over. I mean, and it's been crazy because some of the places I found, it's like I know other people have seen it. When I went to Calico Rock, one of my coworkers, Tammy.
Where's Calico Rock?
That's kind of like close to Mountain View. Like you go up to Mountain View and it just veer off from there on. I can't remember the road.
So Mountain View seems like the place to go. I've done some weddings up there.
There's some.
I think I was on the White River.
Yes.
And it was a tent wedding, and I was the train tracks were here, the tent was here, the White River's over there, raining like cats and dogs down under the tent, under me and my DJ equipment. Thankfully, I had it set up on a plank under the tent, down to the White River. Oh.
See, you had your own little waterfall for a little bit.
For sure. I don't go chasing waterfalls, but sometimes they come to me.
You just gotta stick to the ones that you're used to.
Yes, I do.
But no, it's like
ups to left eye. Okay.
But no, I don't know. It's been so I can't explain it because like, you know, being 33, you know, I've lived quite a bit. I've went, you know, you're talking about the ocean. I'm pretty terrified of it because I think at like 5 out of 8 trips I've been stung by something in the ocean at random. Portuguese, man of war, jellyfish, whatever.
What ocean did you go to?
Gulf. Both of those times.
In Texas, I guess?
Yeah, Texas on one for the Portuguese man of war, and then the other one we were at Navarre Beach, and I got hit by, I think it was pretty sure it was a jellyfish. I had the lines running down the arm, and I'm glad for sand and meat tenderizer. We didn't have to go to the alternative, thankfully. But no, it was, I'm not a big fan of the ocean itself. I don't mind going there and take pictures of it and this and that, but I'm not a big fan. It doesn't like me, and I'm like, okay, we have an understanding. I'll put my feet in it, but just don't get me killed.
I like the diving part, because then I could see what's happening.
Yeah. We went one time, I did the parasailing over somewhere near Fort Waldron, I think it was. And it was really cool. You can see like the shadows of fish down there and this and that. And I was like 16 when we did it, but it was a lot of fun to see. And then they dunked us in the water, and I was ready to go back in at that point. I was like, I don't want to be shark bait. I don't want to be shark bait. Give me back in.
Yeah, I think I was trying to steer you towards your family trips.
Yeah.
And what inspired you about this state, or when did you have your first camera that you were able to take a few pictures?
My first camera was the one I got back in March. Otherwise, it's been smartphones. Yeah, it's always been smartphones that I've used. And it's funny because like my Apple, 4th of July was coming up a couple years ago, and I had gotten this app on there called Camera Plus, and it's just like it takes your normal camera on your phone and it just gives you the option to signal it out. And like,
he's not bragging again.
No. Oh no, I never. I will not intentionally.
I'm playing with you.
But no, what happens is it lets you isolate like your ISO, you do your different stuff, exposures. And I really had to learn on the fly because it didn't, like you do automatic mode or that, and then, no, I take that back. My first phone I took a long exposure on was the LG G4. Take that back. That was a horrible phone. Anyway, but it would let you shoot in RAW, so that was kind of cool. But I went to some little spring up near, it was a gas field, I think it was. No, Cotter. There was like a little waterfall, and I just took a picture of it, and I was able to stretch it out the time, and I got a little bit of a long exposure. And I found that picture last night when I was going through printing my pictures, and I was like, this is what started it for me.
Right.
But I've never owned a camera other than like the old, you know, ones you turn.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, that's what parents like. They would like. We went on a boat trip one time on that red and white one, and
even a throwaway, a disposable, anything.
That was pretty much the only time I ever handled the camera. I was like a kid, and we went out there and filled up the film, and then they developed it, and I was the only time I ever touched the camera before this.
One of the joys for me when I was a kid was having that Instamatic camera and taking those 12 or 24 exposures over to the local drugstore or Publix or wherever it was, a grocery store, and getting my photos back. And then you look at them and you go, oh, that one's blurry, but ooh, that one's real good. I'll put that one up on the wall. I'll frame that one.
And see, that to me is what's so crazy about all this. So like the one that's been kind of helping me out, the one I used to be able to photography, Cassie, she was talking about like when she had to get hers developed and stuff and this and that, and I'm like, look at there it is, you know. And and so I've tried to get her back on it. Like when we go on our little explorations and stuff, I was trying to really get her fired back up and want to get back into it. And I kind of think I did a good job there, but at first she's like, I don't know what. I was like, just put it in auto, do this and that, and adjust for however you want to do it. So she kind of picked it up and went with it too. But it's been, I don't know, like I can't. It's weird once I like get the camera out, like I'll get hot, like swamp donkey nasty feeling, and I don't even notice it. I'm too busy focused on what I'm trying to do.
Right.
And I love that part. It's just like I could turn everything else off except for what I'm trying to do. And
you sit and wait for that shot.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends. If I'm doing like the waterfalls, like I'll look at it, I'll kind of scope it out, and like in my mind I'm like, it takes the water to travel from its tallest point to its lowest in so much time. If I were to stretch it out in my mind, I'm capturing the entire frame. And I'll look like this fountain, like you see where the water hits.
Oh yeah.
If you see how the directions change where it hits the water, I might like open up the time some more to capture that whole movement. I watch for things like that.
Now, how would you capture the movement on a waterfall? I'm looking at a fountain here in Conway, downtown. How would you capture
so in this
the way
one,
that it's going wider and skinnier?
So like right here, with the way that you can, this is where I'm using my surroundings. Okay, so on your camera, if you were to sit there and close up your aperture to make it where it sees further type, like go up to f/22.
Okay.
What I would do that because a couple of things. You got these lights through here, and whenever you do that, it gives them that star effect. And so I would do that first, cut down on the light. Two, these cars that come by, you'll see their trail of their light the entire way, and it'll stay clear. You won't see the car, but you'll see the light. It makes it look really cool. But like these little lights that are showing up under here, those will do it too. But if you were to close it up, get rid of that effect, just to go with the waterfall, because of the way this looks and with the lighting and everything, I would probably try to back with that building back there. I would try a shot from this side to get it with the lights in it to really capture the forward motion of the water, like how it's oscillating, I guess you would call it. And then I would try it from a different angle with the background over here, and try to see how it frames up. But the only problem I have is with those windows over there, reflections and stuff, so I would be kind of concerned about that. Now behind us, it's a little more open, and that would capture more, but we gotta be careful because with the windier night, these trees on long exposure, they'll get blurry because it's capturing that moment. So it's like, you can always cut down the time and you'll get more of the water retention, like where it's holding its shape instead of more white. And so, I mean, and the problem is the coolest aspect of this is up higher than like where I'd like for it to be. With it going up and down, it's really cool, but I'd rather have like an upward from up above look on it and try to get rid of all the outside stuff, cars and stuff. That would be my main way, like from a building down, focused in, and just like that.
Do you hear all this thought that he's putting in to getting this shot of this waterfall? Most people would just take out their camera phone, boom, there's a fountain, there's a fountain.
And that's what's horrible. Like the Apple phones, you can take a picture and it even has a long exposure mode. You flip the picture over to it and it'll do the effect to it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's not half bad either.
Hey, if you ever take and this is for the listeners, if you ever take the walking tour of downtown Conway, Arkansas, we're sitting on a bench kind of to the right of the fountain facing Oak Street. Mm-hmm. Now where he was wanting to set up his shot was kind of with his back towards Oak Street, facing the fountain, with the parking lot behind him that's a little darker. Mm-hmm. Now the darkness behind you, you're just using the lights that are coming up out of the fountain, rather than the lights that are behind the cars going by and the street lamps.
Because what happens when you do a long exposure, you're like, if you have it low ISO like you're supposed to, like 100, or some of them go lower than that, the more light that you have in frame, the more it can wash out those areas, especially if you stretch it out for a further time. Now if you're just doing short, just enough to like get the blur going, most people might do like 1/10 of a second. I usually try to get more time in it, like 5-10 seconds plus. Some of my best shots are like at 3 seconds. It just kind of depends on how fast the water's going. And like this one's holding its form real well, and so I could probably get away with it in 3. But if you want like the artistic looking side of it, I would totally face towards Oak Street and keep it real low, quick, and wait for cars to roll through, so you'll have the tail lights behind it, and because of the red hue, it'll bounce off the water just fine and give it like a cool effect. It's just, but like if I were to do my optimum one, it would be somewhere up high looking down, because I want that feature on top as well.
There's a lot of thought to that. A lot of thought in this process.
It's horrible.
Yeah. All right, Cody. Shoot, I'm learning a lot about photography and about you. Oh, yeah. That's what we're doing here. Cody Pafford, found you on the Instagram at your morbid monk underscore photos. Yes, Monk, M-U-N-K.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you say that you only put photos that you take on your Instagram. Does your group have a page that they share photos from everyone in that group?
Yes.
Please look that up. I want to put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I want people to know where to find that group. And if they're interested in photography, especially here in Central Arkansas, I want you to be a part of this group. The Arkansas Photographers River Valley.
Yeah, River Valley chapter.
River Valley chapter.
Let's see.
You know, you're pointing at that building. I was thinking, the reason it's called What Makes You Famous, my radio station is radiowhat.com, and I was thinking of making my internet radio into a terrestrial radio, and I was going to get an office up there.
Oh, really?
Right up there facing Oak Street. And that I wanted to be like, when I worked in Miami, we had a station called it was an AM station I worked on, 1080 WVCG. I think it's changed its letters by now, but it had a window that faced Coral Gables, and people could drive by and wave at you while you were on the air. So you could actually be talking to people, and they'll be waving at you out of their cars, and I'll say, oh yeah, the Ford Fiesta sitting outside, and they'll go, that's me.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it made it a little more hometown, I think.
So this one, it's APC River Valley.
Yes.
And in fact, that's like, they have one of my photos like right there on the get-go.
With the spinning?
Yeah, the spinning wool over falling water.
Amazing shot.
That's the one I love because the waterfall is just barely even in view, so.
The shots on this, and yes, I love photography. I've been avid since I was a kid. And full disclosure, when I first moved here to Arkansas, Central Arkansas, I went to the employment office. They got me a job over at Taco Bueno. That lasted about 4 hours.
Taco Bueno.
Yeah, I like Taco Bueno. Hey, no, nothing against the food, but I did fast food when I was a teenager, and here I was 40. You know, I did not want to start over.
No.
So the other job that they gave me was Picture Me Photo Studios at Walmart. So I was taking baby pictures.
Oh my gosh, it's called Picture Me?
Picture Me Photo Studios, same one that Sears owns. And I don't think they're even in the Walmarts anymore. They might be defunct. But hey, growing up as a kid, my family took Olin Mills pictures and Sears pictures all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
And here I was working for the same company all these years later. The cool thing about that building, the reason that these photo studios take perfect pictures every time, is because the camera is mounted, the f-stop is set for that room, the aperture is set for that room, the ISO, all that set for that room. Now, some of the photographers were a little more daring than I was, because I would leave it on that stand with the perfect settings, just direct the child, make him laugh, make him smile, do his thing. But some of the other ones would take it off of the stand, reset the aperture, get closer, do other action shots. You're leery as of yet to take pictures of people. Even on your Instagram, there's only like
one or two
of you. People wouldn't even know who you are unless they looked you up on the Facebook and they found one or two there. I had to go way down, and I found a little baby face picture with no beard, and here you got a little scruffy. I got a little scruffy, but you know, it shows that you love taking those pictures and sharing those pictures.
Oh yeah.
And the people are excited about it, man. And it's nice that you have a following.
Yeah, and it's been a great outlet. And like now my pictures are like me, like at various places at night, trying to do where I can see the beam off my headlamp that I have.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like doing one of my pictures I did up at Blanchard, I did a night shot of the actual spring coming out, and it was weird because I had it think in reverse. So when you take a picture at long exposure and there's no light getting to it, essentially it's capturing darkness for 30 seconds. So if you think of it like a chalkboard, in my mind, this is the way I did it. Like I took the picture and I had like my headlamp on and I had a flashlight with me. And what I was doing is I was painting the scene or drawing the scene on the chalkboard in my mind. So I'm like dragging it across, and where the light's touching, it's letting the light reflect back to the camera. And it's like, oh hey, this is for the image. So like I'll sit there and I'll drag it across the areas I want to concentrate, and then like the waterfalls themselves, I would like hold the light there for a little bit to really capture the water and the motion. And I was like, And the first one I took, I was like, this is gonna look like crud. This isn't gonna work. And about that time, I looked at the camera and like, I'm glad nobody was anywhere near me because I screamed like a little kid. I was like, yes! And so, because it worked out. So then I adjusted my camera because I had no way of testing what the exposures were gonna do from there. And so after I did that, I adjusted my next one, tested it its lowest ISO, and it just popped out perfectly. And that was like my eureka moment. Like, cause I found it earlier in the day doing the manual thing, and I'm like, it just clicked. Like I know my camera a lot more now than like when I first got it. It was like a dumpster fire. I was lucky to get anything to work half the time, and then now it's like, and like I said, when I go to a place, instead of like 1 out of every 30, 40 photos being worthwhile, it's like I'm getting a lot more. Yeah. And now I'm capturing like with pre-thought, I guess you would say, as of how, like, when I do, like, sometimes I'll take my pictures on darker on purpose, and so when I brighten them, it kind of gives it more of a mood. Like, my main thing is now not to blow out the sky, not to make it look all white, and it's just now I'm capturing more emotions in my photo instead of just what's there. And that's the part the evolution of it, I guess, because before I was like, I'm lucky to get this picture, and then now it's like, especially my petty jean shots, I've caught some stuff, and then I shared one of them with Jay Hyatt, and I was like, I was going for like a real low angle one here, like almost like a kid-like one. It almost looks like an ant, but what do you think? I sent it to him, and he's like, I love it. I was like, but I want to edit it and bring out the stones. He goes, you touch that, I'll hurt you. I'm like, okay, I'm not touching it. And so, because to me, it's like I wanted to bring out more of what's in the photo, but because of the sun being directly in the lens and everything, I really couldn't do a whole lot to it. But it was really cool because Camp Mitchell up there on Petty Jean, I don't really know a whole lot about it. I know that they kind of used it for different things back in the day, like a getaway kind of place. There's like crosses, like an outdoor church, no walls, made of rock. And behind the pulpit right there, there's like a cross, and you look down, and there's like just a valley opening, sweeping. And so like everybody, normally I see take pictures like from the back, getting the whole thing in, doing this and that, but I've gotten hooked on the sunburst. And so I was like, I want to do that in low angle and see what I got. And so when I did, it was like the pews were there and this and that, and it lit up. And then you can see the cross for the main pulpit, and then like the lookout. But in my mind, it's like I feel like it was still incomplete. So I went up to the other side and took a picture where Camp Mitchell's in the left side, and like the sweeping valley views just right there. And so it's kind of like, I like to do series now of like, if I go to a place, before I would share all of them in one thing. And it's like, I'm losing a lot of content possibilities by doing that. So now I just try to do, like, if I take 20 pictures of the same area, like various angles, I'll choose like one of them and kind of wean it out. And it's kind of crazy. So I've already cleared out my collection a couple times, but since March, when I was doing it last night, I started out with 9,700 photos, and I've already knocked out 700 of those. And so I'm still pruning. I'm just trying to like knock down my workflow and try to get stuff that I feel like it's worthwhile. I had a former officer friend of mine say I should make a calendar out of it, and I was like, oh crud, this sounds like a good idea.
What a great idea.
But I'm still waiting because I want to get some more fall stuff and get some icy stuff for winter, and then maybe next year I'll come out with something like that. But like I said, if I get any kind of extra money for it, it's going straight back into the hobby, and that's the part I really love about it, because yeah, it's costing me to travel and this and that, wear and tear on the car, but to me it's worth it, because it's like I said, to me it's like sacrificing like free time that I would be wasting doing something else, but to bring people sites that they may not have access to.
This is the something else you want to do, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love traveling.
I used to share all my pictures on Instagram. If you'll see, I think I have 20,000 Instagram pictures. Yeah. And it was a lot of times people singing, people dancing, people having fun at the parties. But now I've started to where I'm selecting that one or two a day, maybe one or two. If I'm at an event, sometimes I go crazy and I want to put 12 out there. Yeah. But I know I use my Facebook to share more. Oh, yeah. Say you had those 100 pictures or 50 pictures that came out pretty good. Yeah. So you'll put them on the Facebook maybe, and then share maybe one or two on Instagram.